Welcome, welcome, everybody. This
Pew,
is
pew,
the
pew.
CyphaDen Chat. I'm your host, Tayamu Denku. I got my homie Rambunctious with me, and
Peace, peace,
tonight,
peace, peace, peace.
special guest Cam Calloway in the building.
What's
What is
up,
good?
y'all?
What's going
Abhorrence and
on, man?
Halos films.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
yeah. How you doing, man? You good? Shit.
Good. I'm good. Good. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me on here.
for sure, man. Yeah, all day. All day. So I guess let me get everybody up to speed on Cam. Cam is a film producer, and I'm actually going to be in one of his films coming up called Banjo, which is a
Sir.
socially conscious horror film. Is that's how you describe it, right?
Yes,
Socially conscious horror film.
social conscious horror film. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll explain that later on.
Well, I was gonna say, shit. The movie's called Banjo. I'll be a character called Orion. He had asked me a few months ago if I wanted to do it, that I fit the character perfectly. I immediately said yeah, because me and Cam are cool, and well, I think everybody at this point knows I have some acting
Yeah, cast and crew
aspirations.
already knows, and you like literally fit the bill. Like you are the Candyman. You're gonna be the new Candyman. For you to don't say his name.
That's what's up, man.
I mean,
That's what's
you
up.
laughing now. Look, laugh now, collect that check later.
I mean, I ain't bad. I ain't bad at all. But I think we should just go ahead and explain Banjo, because it's kind of complex for just the average person. So you kind of need to
Yeah.
explain it. So we might
Yeah.
as well just get that out the way. If you want to explain what Banjo's about, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's a good idea. What you think, Dago?
Let's do it.
That's right.
Okay. Um, Banjo is a social conscious horror. Think about, okay, what's a social conscious horror? There's a thin line between fact and fiction. Things that have happened in the past are probably the most atrocious horrific things that have happened, especially when you translate it over to cinema. Now, if you think about it, if you go back to like to the 50s and things like that in cinema, I'm a cinema head, so I follow the history of horror. So you think about Dracula, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, Frankenstein, right? And then going from the 60s to the 70s, you have like the radioactive 50-foot spiders and stuff like that, right?
Oh
Then
yeah, yeah.
coming up to the 70s and 80s, you got the slasher gore, like Freddy Krueger, well, not Freddy Krueger, but you got Jason Voorhees. I'm gonna mention something about him. Then it transcended into um, like Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, if you look at today's horror in juxtaposition to the definition of social conscious horror,
Mm-hmm.
the monsters are not like, kind of, they're your next door neighbors. It's the history that people have had. So that's kind of what the social conscious horror is. It's like, you could walk right past a serial killer nowadays and they look so normal. It's not like they're gonna have I'm a serial killer or walk with claws
So
in.
so it's almost like the next step up from a psychological thriller in a sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now combining that with history, one of the kind of mantras in this for you, Orion, which becomes Banjo, it says his story is history.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at this film, you all, Daiku, you and Ram, you already know when we were kids, we would have that pocket full of change running to the ice cream truck, right? And you hear all those little jingles and things like that.
Yeah.
This film is based on one of those songs called Oh Susanna. A lot of people don't know the darkness of that song, that Oh Susanna, Don't Cry for Me, came from Alabama with a banjo on my knee.
Banjo on my knee. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. That's where this came from. So when I was initially writing it, it's like when you get into mode, you listen to instrumentals as an artist. I'm the same way. I listen to music, so I was listening to backwoods, banjo music, dark woods music. In the original, when you get a chance, listen to the original Oh Susanna. Keep in mind, we were taught this song in school, but it was different. When you listen to the original one, it's going to strike a nerve, and that's what it did for me as a writer. So I'm like, wait a minute.
What? Real quick.
Explain that.
What year? Well, real quick. What year was? Do you know what year the original was?
1862, 1863.
Susanna.
There's no copyright on that. Can we find it and play it right now?
Me and you, my bruh. That's you know what? If you go to YouTube and look up,
run that. Hell yeah.
Uh-oh. If you go to,
Oh, that's perfect because I'm about to grab a different lamp so I have a little more light.
it's
1 sec, y'all. But go ahead, find that.
Deku is just letting you know it's gonna be graphic, okay?
All right. So what am I looking up?
If you look up "Oh Susanna" original, there's going to be some racial slurs in that song. Just letting you know. So this song was, it was
Is
like
it
back in,
okay? So there's one.
look up the one that says Stephen Foster. Oh
All right.
Susanna, it's brown. It should be brown.
All right. Yeah, you want to play it? Is Ram in here? Where's Ram at?
Yeah, Ram had to get lighting. But
yeah, I'm just trying to get better lighting here. Yeah,
Ram, we gonna play it. We're gonna run it.
Now, if you go, it's gonna have. But yeah, it's gonna the atrocity, the verbal atrocity in this is in the second verse, and then that's where this song came in. So if you want to jump to there, play it however you want to do it. But it's gonna be straight with Banjo.
Let's see.
Yep.
Well, we'll just play it. We'll run it. Let's see.
You playing the whole song then?
Yeah.
Came from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see. It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh Susanna, oh don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with the banjo on my knee. I jumped aboard the telegraph and traveled down the river. The electric fluid magnified and killed 500 niggers. The Vulcan bus, the horse run off, I really thought I'd die. I shut my eyes to hold my breath. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh Susanna, oh don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with the banjo on my knee.
Is that enough?
Wow.
Yeah, that's that right there. Wow. Yeah. Now
I was saying wow because I know the story of the movie, and I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally saying it.
Yep. So that second verse, when it says the electric fluid magnified and killed blah blah blah, what we can't say. That's what happened. When I heard that, I never knew that. I'm 52. That's what I learned. That's we all learned in elementary school. We learned as kids, but we didn't know that the dark meaning, the dark truth behind that. That man that wrote that, his name is Stephen Foster. He just had a statue taken down. He had a bronze statue, I believe it was in Philadelphia. He was the king of the Jim Crow songs. They just took
Like that was a music category?
Yeah. I did the history of this. So that statue is now in Las Vegas. So at the end of this film, we're traveling to Las Vegas to put this actual statue because this was an actual story.
Mm-hmm. So explain the story so people know what Banjo is about. Okay. Kind of get into that.
All right. Going to that second part of the song, it's about a man during the 1860s. It was about it's a two-part deal. First of all, it's about these couples that want to get their relationship back together. So instead of going to a resort or something like that, they go into the woods. They go camping for a weekend, just try to get their relationship together back intact and everything. They start telling campfire stories. They start talking about, have you heard of Banjo? Nobody heard of Banjo. So they start telling the story. Now in the film, it's actually showing what happened, not just to him, but in that song when it says the electric fluid magnified. So you Ram as Orion, you get pulled out into the water and you get shocked and it's called Lichtenberg figures when someone gets hit with with lightning. I mean, that's a real thing, but it's called Lichtenberg figures, and you become this supernatural being. So that's why I say this is a combination of like Django mixed with Candyman and Predator. So now activated. So this thing has been activated from the woods since the 1800s. Now in 2025, Now this thing is hunting them that's been a part of the woods since the end of slavery, but it's in the northern Wisconsin woods.
And so in the story, it was actually the northern Wisconsin woods.
Yes. Yes.
That's the crazy part about this.
That's the crazy part about it. So in the film, we're not going to be able to find the point. So they talk about the campsite where they're camping is actually where you got unalived or killed or what have you. So it's a couple of other twists in it, like
don't give away too much now.
Huh?
So don't give away too much.
No, I ain't gonna give away too much. A couple of the Easter eggs is there's a lot of Masonic ties that I intentionally put in this, like Easter eggs, where you have to study it. But also, there's a movie, and you know about this, Ram. It's a movie called Deliverance from 1972, and it's pronounced Danku.
Danku, you got it.
Danku, okay. Yeah. You probably heard that you sure got a purty mouth and squeal like a pig, and they had the dueling banjos.
Yeah.
The man that played the dueling banjos as a kid, he's actually in this film. His name is Billy Redden. I reached out to him and sent him the trailer. His PR person sent it to him, and he personally liked it. So even though he was in the movie Deliverance, this is the first horror film ever in history that this man has ever been in. Because when you think of backwoods stuff, you think of horror, but it was actually adventure. It wasn't horror.
Oh, so technically Deliverance isn't considered horror.
Huh?
So are you saying Deliverance isn't considered horror then?
Nope. When you look it up, the IMDb is considered under thriller and adventure because they were traveling down this river for the last time before they came through with the construction made into a city. So yes, adventure, thriller. This is the first horror that Billy Redden has ever been in, ever.
Oh wow! And this whole movie is going to be basically Wisconsin based. I think that's important for our crowd to know that this 100%. It's all Wisconsin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you know, when the movie's done, you might have to get some of the cast to come on the podcast.
Talk 100. Yeah, we might have to have a big.
Oh yeah, definitely with Ram. We do have as Ram knows, we have a private messaging with all of the cast and crew and everybody. So we keep in tune with everybody. So if I say y'all want to be on the podcast, I mean, I know they're gonna jump at the opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was talking to John Brunson.
Yeah. He plays Mikey.
Okay, we had talked for a second through Messenger, just introducing ourselves. He seemed like he'd be a good dude to have on here. He was telling me some of his film stuff that he had done.
Yeah, Simply Understanding. Yeah, I follow other people, what they do. Yeah.
I was just mentioning that. But yeah, man. What I'm gonna get a little more deep into your story. What was the first thing that inspired you to say, you know what? A, I want to make film at all. And then B, horror films specifically.
Okay. First things first, if y'all are music heads just like me, that's my first love is music. You remember EPMD, Please Listen to My Demo?
Yep.
That's how
that's like one of the most popular hip hop songs ever to heads. You know what I mean?
Like people they know about but don't know about it until you bring it up and they get hit with that nostalgic feel. But that's how I was as a recording artist, but also as a screenwriter. I was writing these scripts and I was trying to send them out like, please listen to my demo, please read my script. In the world of the internet and instant gratification, nobody wants to read a script. I've sent out hundreds of inquiry letters, things like that, like permission to send, to request. It was either a no or nothing at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I started investing in myself. We could talk about the birth of Horns and Halo Films, like the meaning behind it. But I invested, got my own LLC, EIN, video equipment, started creating trailers and things like that. I basically built it from there. That's where it started from because I just got tired of hearing no. I'm like, I'm going to create the yes that I want.
Wait, hold on. I'm asking, I mean, were you a kid? I'm saying, what made you want to make films?
Oh, what started? Oh, you talking about?
Yeah, what started that?
Trilogy of Terror, 1975. There was a horror thing.
Okay, like you just showed us you 52. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Well, you know what? When you say Trilogy of Terror, the only thing that comes to my mind is the Afu Ra song.
Right?
Okay. Okay, there's a movie. There's an actual movie with she was a horror icon back in the 70s. Her name was Karen Black.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I've heard the name.
okay, this movie called Trilogy of Terror. It had this little voodoo doll. If you look at it, if y'all look it up, it's called the Zoomy doll. Where if the chain fell off of this doll, the spirit will come to it. That was the first thing. That was the first horror that I ever. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to look this up and see if y'all can find it. But so hopefully y'all can. So hopefully you can see this.
Oh,
No,
I
hold
think
it
it's
back some.
I think it's because you got the
Yeah, the filter's cutting it out. So hold it back.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look that up, that initially it's weird. It's like what you're most horrified by usually attracts you.
Right.
That
Probably what inspired Chucky, I would imagine, right?
that was Chucky before Chucky was Chucky.
Right. Okay.
And a couple of years ago, that doll right there sold for $217,000 on an auction, on a silent auction.
Whoa.
217,000. Yeah. So that got me interested in, like, even at I was 4 or 5 years old, I got interested in art because it scared the piss out of me, but I was drawn towards it. And then there was one called Don't Go in the House, and then the evolution of it was even before Freddy. What's his name? 1978, Michael Myers, the first Halloween.
Oh yeah.
With Mufasa, Cod, and
Halloween's the first shit that scared the fuck out of me, yo. Yeah. When the kid was sitting in front of the TV and the bugs and the worms, remember that started coming out of his head and all that? That was it. That was the shit.
that was Halloween 3. There's 3.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Halloween 3 is actually you describing that's actually a fatality in a new Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's dope. What's funny is I get those first 3 all meshed together because I was so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the first one, interestingly enough, the first one, no matter how scary it was, they intentionally had it where there was no blood in it. Not at all.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's genius, actually.
That was very genius. So, yeah, that from the Trilogy of Terror, and then Michael Myers. That's why if you look around, you see even in the office, I got Michael Myers everywhere because he basically kicked it off for me.
Nice. Okay.
Can I ask a random question based on Michael Myers? So I actually have a huge liking towards the Rob Zombie take on Halloween. Do you fuck with that?
Heavy? Wait, what is the Rob? Wait. What is the
Rob Zombie Halloween?
He redid part.
Oh, you're saying his? Okay, I never saw that personally, but
crazy.
I heard about it. Yeah.
Those are insane to me. Those are my favorites. I love
those. I like those. Believe it or not, I like 1 and 2 because he only did 2 of them. And Blumhouse. I think people get so wrapped up in, like, streamlined mental thought, whereas they kind of lose the creativity of different directors like Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie snapped in that movie with both of them. The part where he had Danny Trejo.
He's in those?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what he did to him. And even the kid that he had in it, it was very good. They were very good. But no, yeah, I do definitely mess with them. I literally mess with all of them, including Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which isn't even about Michael Myers, but
no, not anymore, right? Yeah.
So what is so random then? What did you think of was there 4 of the new realm of them that they did? Was there 4 or 3 of them? Like the
Blumhouse?
Is that the new ones?
With Blumhouse, I think it was Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Did you like those ones too?
I liked all of those. Matter of fact, there's a woman in the newer one. Her name was Candace Rose. She played it. I'm friends with her on social media, but the last one wasn't even about. It was kind of about Michael Myers, but it was the spirit of Michael Myers that transcended into this. Yeah. So remember the part when the kid fell down the stairs and he hit the ground from the stairs, from upstairs. The woman, the mother. Me and her talked. I'm like, I definitely got to get you in a film, and that's how it happens when you get in casting. It's like you talk to people.
Just natural conversation type shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like with me and you, but me and you've been cool since Holy days.
Since that night at the Hody during pandemic days, baby, we was having a good time though. We was having a good time, not gonna lie. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is evolution right here.
Yeah. It's all kind of evolved, literally evolved into this right now.
Yep.
What have you thought of other genres? Have you ever thought of jumping into other genres, or you're just kind of like, why would I? You know what I mean? Like,
So this is the first. This is like on the back of a dollar, pluribus unum, of one comes many. This is the first film. The next one I have lined up is called Field of Lambs. It's based here. I use a lot of people sleep on the Midwest with, like, you know, cinematic wise. They look at the West. They particularly look at the West Coast.
the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, this movie Field of Lambs, it's about an Irish American writer that goes to Devil's Lake and she meets the devil.
Oh shit! Sorry.
This is already done. This script is already done and everything. But Banjo has gained more momentum than that, so I put it on the back burner. But interestingly enough, I can still tell you this without telling the story. She goes to Devil's Lake and meets the devil. One of the quotes from there says, "What you're willing to sacrifice for success becomes self-sacrifice." It repeatedly plays.
Oh, so it's almost like she meets the seller soul type thing. Like,
it's about mental health awareness. So it's really deep. So yeah. So it's hard, but that's
so
more.
So Danko, you might have to play the Irish American, man. You know what I
mean? And if you think about it, that title, Field of Lamb, if you think of the field, that's the world. And then people are usually following everyone else. So it's their lamb, their sheep. She realizes she's a wolf. She's a female wolf as a human. So that's another one. You talk about other projects.
Yeah, that's wild.
Ram, I don't know if I told you this, but both of y'all are familiar with the movie Seven, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I saw that in the theater in high school. It's that's probably one of my favorite psychological thriller type movies ever, probably, yeah.
You've probably seen it. I posted a couple of times, Ram. I
have.
I've been trying to I wrote a prequel to that. And I've been trying to pitch it to David Fincher and Andrew Kevin Walker for the past 3 years. It meets and exceeds this coming from beta writers, because beta readers, I had people read it. I would not give the script to anybody. I would sit with them and let them read a 93-page script. I would not let them take it with them.
Right.
This exceeds the what's in the box. At the end of it, yeah. So it's twisted.
So it's almost a prequel and a sequel in a sense.
Yeah, it talks about it talks about one of the characters, and then it brings it up to 2025, 2026, whenever this is done. But it's very twisted. It's very twisted, and it doesn't meet the. If you think of like Criminal Minds and like Law and Order, when they have the onset, they think about, like, you know, for example, a serial killer between the ages of 27 to 35, white male, blah, blah, blah. This is nothing like this. Completely blows all of those theories out of the water, because remember I said in the beginning, the serial killer, that person that's really about that kind of life, they could be sitting right next to you. They could be on this video podcast.
It's Dexter, right? It's like Dexter.
Yeah, they could be watching this podcast right now. You don't know.
They could be on this podcast.
I like that. I like that you focus. That you have focused scripts based in Wisconsin. Like, I love that. Would you ever think of doing? Man, I'm just thinking. I'm just randomly thinking outside the box, like with things that happened in Wisconsin. Would you ever think about like making a horror movie based off the haunting of Otis Redding?
Oh, woo! Maybe be quiet now, cause and damn, we don't get the idea away now. Hold up, pause the podcast.
I got chills up my back from that.
That's fire, because that's Lake Mendota, right? That's right.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And he's part of the 27 Club.
Yep.
That's something. Wow, I never thought of that. You know what's crazy? I've always thought that why...
Hey, we literally might have to cut that idea out of the podcast, man. We actually work on that for real.
I've always wondered why the Wisconsin State song has not been sitting on the dock of the Bay. I've always wondered.
What is the Wisconsin State song? You know, I'll look that up.
It's Oh Susanna.
Get the fuck out of here.
I
thought you were serious.
Don't you cry for me.
I'm sorry, dog. I couldn't help it.
You got him. I gotta give you a pound for that.
Hey, that's lyrics right there. That's bars.
Wow, that's heavy.
I'm gonna look that up. Hold on, Wisconsin State
heavy.
Song.
I can't share.
I forget states have songs. That's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway.
I've always felt that should be, and I can share another. All of these are copywritten, so I don't care.
It's on. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on Wisconsin by W.T. Purdy. On Wisconsin, Grand Old Badger State. Corny than a motherfucker.
It's our state.
Yeah, I know. It's what it is. Yeah.
So another one that y'all didn't know about. You asked if I would ever switch over to like different genres. Mm-hmm. I'm just giving these are not conceptual ideas. These are one second. These are actual scripts. When I say I'm a writer, these are actual scripts that are done. So a lot of people don't know about this, but sorry, I'm just making some adjustments.
Nah, you cool.
Between 1964, this is gonna sound like what's that called? Law and Order. Between 1964 to 1982, there was a serial killer here in Wisconsin on Madison. Madison was UW-Madison that killed 7 women. This person was never found. I got a script for that called Mad City Murders, already done.
Well, you got a sequel. You got a sequel going on right now.
That's crazy. Too. That's crazy.
This person was never found. It was interesting because I went to this this show. It was at the I think it was at the Barrymore, and it was called The Psychology of Killers. This doctor gave this show, and it had like a Q&A. It's like a 2-part show, and you can submit your questions on the second part. Keeping in mind the Barrymore holds 350, 360 people,
something like that, right under 400, I think.
Yeah. One of the questions that was asked, it said, "Do you think that I will ever get caught?"
Get the fuck out of here.
The whole place was silent. I don't know if that was staged, but she was talking about the different serial killers, like what makes a serial killer snap. Of course, she talked about Ed Gein, talked about Jeffrey Dahmer. Right. She talked about all of even the serial killers that people have not heard of. One of the questions was about African-American serial killers, and I think there was 3 notorious ones. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that this person was never caught. So I'm not gonna be able to be an employee of UW-Madison when that film is made. So hopefully Banjo would. They'd be like, yeah, we tried to keep it under covers. You got it.
So 64 to 82, and when was that Barrymore?
No, between 1964 to 1982, those happened on UW-Madison University grounds.
I got it. I'm saying, when was that Barrymore show you're talking about that you were at?
Oh, that was last year.
Oh, so that person would still be, 60-something maybe?
If it was that person, but they're having another one coming up. But it shocked everybody because just the depths of conversation. It was 7 different bullet points that would make a person a serial killer starting from their childhood. Mm-hmm. And for that question to pop up, do you think that's the first thing I thought about? Either they strategically staged that for shock value, or because you don't know a person's handwriting. You're not gonna say who wrote this. You're gonna say, "Oh, me."
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What did you look at the person on stages? How did they react? Did they seem genuinely shocked, kind of by it, or?
She's a doctor. When you get a chance, she has another one coming up this year called The Psychology of Serial Killers.
Okay, is it a UW professor?
No. She comes from out of state.
Okay.
She's from out of state. Okay. It's going to be at the Barrymore. She was taken back as everybody else. Imagine 360 people, because you have the ambiance, the whole area. Then you just hear nothing. Everybody's kind of looking
just hair standing up, bro.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
keeping in
crazy.
mind they serve adult beverages there, so they're really intensive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
Wisconsin,
crazy.
baby. Let's you know.
Random. Speaking of, since we're just talking movies. Speaking of serial killer movies, you see that newer movie, Woman in the Hour, based off that dating game Serial Killer.
I have not seen that.
You
No,
need,
no,
you
no,
need to check
no.
that. I didn't even know really about that dude, but
I
that
know a lot
dude
about that.
that dude was so crazy. They show at the beginning. Did you watch that movie, Ram?
No, but that's why I'm kind of surprised that there's a movie about it because that's a popular one. That's a real popular one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, I didn't know the depth behind it, but they're saying that dude might have killed like up to 100 people. He was
Oh,
only
way more people.
he
Way
was
more.
he was only like, I think, only committed like 10 or 12 or something.
They think.
But
Yeah.
it's crazy because they start the movie out with him in this fucking beautiful field, right? With like a photographer chick. And he's talking to her about a relationship, right?
I heard of this.
And he says some grimy shit. Then she kind of freaks out, realizes what's going on, starts running away. He chases her down, chokes her the fuck out. She's dead. He brings her back to life so he can do it again.
I've heard
Wait,
about
wait a fucking minute.
this.
That's the trailer?
That's the beginning of the movie, bro.
I did want to see that. I did want to see that.
And
Yes.
I guess he used to do that shit. He used to
That's some
kill
other shit.
people and then bring
a whole
them
nother
back
level.
to life so he could do it again, just so he could repeat the process. Because he was so amped up on the process of doing it that he wanted to keep doing it to the same person.
Yep.
Yeah, like I've heard serial killers like actually like looking into the eyes of their victim as they kill, weird shit like that. That's probably like that kind of psyche, you know what
But
I mean?
listen to me. Is that really weird compared? Like when you look at the normalcy of people nowadays, is that really off balance?
It's not.
No, no.
I've heard this, especially if you had asked me that in 2022, I might have said, but 2025 now, January alone, will tell you.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's been crazy.
I mean, fuck. But yeah, man, that's
Random. Before you say anything, Ram, I just saw today, R.I.P. Roberta Flack. I don't know if you heard that.
Roberta Flack. Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah. She's icon. Yeah, that was. You know which one touched me the most? You're not gonna laugh. Tony Todd.
Yes.
Candyman.
Yeah, that was rough. That's rough.
They used his likeness in a horror video game I played recently.
Oh no shit.
And for Candyman?
Yeah, his likeness got used.
Okay. What if they're getting sued?
And
no. If they get the IPR, the intellectual property rights.
Okay. And you can kind of get around that depending on the percentage of how much they likeness.
Yeah, because it's just like I read how they were able to use the likeness of, I can't think of his name, but the guy that played one of the old androids in Alien Romulus. They brought him back to reprise his role, and they went directly to his wife who carries the estate, and they were able to okay it through her, saying this is something he would have wanted to do if he was still here.
Oh, okay. So that's where you're saying the intellectual property is usually owned probably by a person.
Yeah. It's just the fact of reaching out to that person or that estate or whoever holds it.
Interesting.
I
got a question for you. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
It wasn't a horror video game. The new Indiana Jones. That's what it is.
Oh, wow.
Candyman, he gets used in the new Indiana Jones video
game. I heard that game is fire.
It is very fire.
Yeah. That's what's up. I wanted to go back to the serial killer real quick. Did y'all know that there's possibly an active serial killer in Austin, Texas? Did y'all know that? Okay, so check this out and look it up to get it all perfectly factual. I'm gonna fuck some shit up probably, but there's the cops think and they're being a little hush hush, 23, 24 people that they might have killed so far. And if anyone knows Austin, Texas, there's Rainy Street, Lady Bird Lake, 6th Street area, that whole area, Rainy Street mainly. Basically, the same type of demographic of person has been murdered there. They found them by the lake. Some people think it's accidental drownings, but it's normally gay dudes, white or black, same age range, mid-20s, mid-30s. And I'm not gonna say normally gay, but I think 14 out of the 23 were gay males, right? But then there's been a couple that were a little different, as if they're trying to say like, oh, maybe this, like the cops there will say that some of them aren't related to the other ones, but they are. They're found in the same areas by Lady Bird Lake. They think people might be spiking people's drinks and then taking them back home type thing. They haven't figured it out. They hadn't talk about it much either. But get on an Austin Reddit thing or something. Everybody knows about it. Everybody.
It reminds me of what went on up here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Y'all remember the smiley face?
I've heard about that. Yep.
Smiley face. Wow. So that what you're talking about is current?
Active. And Austin police will not admit that there's up to 20 something. I think they say like 11 or 12. But ask anybody in Austin. Everybody knows. And every time one comes up, they're like, they try to divert. While I was there, living there last time, there was 2 bodies found by Lady Bird Lake. One of them, they said it could possibly be related. The other one, they said it's definitely not related. And I'm like, hey, you can't say that. Number 23.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jordan. And you asked me why I write horror. Because
it was it's more of a whimsical question than actually wondering why. Niggas kill niggas.
So I don't end up on Channel 3000 or Lifetime. That's why.
You're right.
I think he was just curious because we have had other actresses on here. We had the homegirl Natasha Ticini on here, who actually admits that she doesn't even like horror.
She doesn't even watch horror movies. And
but she's the only
producing and directing
she really does right now is horror movies. But she doesn't even like horror.
If you think about it, like when you're playing the numbers game, when you think of the different genres, you got rom-com, you got adventure, you got thriller, horror, even going all the way back to paranormal, not even before Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project. Horror films, you can have the lowest budget, but have the highest turnaround. Astronomical. I think it took them like not even 60 grand to make Blair Witch Project.
Right.
They made 275 million.
Yeah. That was an independent film.
Yeah. Same thing that they did with the first Paranormal Activity. Jason Blum had a part of that, and there was a guy named Oren Peli that wrote, directed, and produced it and everything. If you start to look at IMDb, when you have actor like the director, the editor, those are just like Jordan Peele with Monkey Paw Productions. The different pots that they have their hands in, it's not only showing their versatility, but that's a return because horror is low budget, high return.
Sure.
And that's what I want to do with this.
Sure. Yeah. I think even the first Scream, most of the money was spent on casting. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's crazy.
So, what's your ultimate goal with your films?
This whole thing.
Yes, because I'm just curious because there's some people that are in it just to create a cult classic. They're not in it for there's people that are in it for that, and people that go into it thinking, oh, this might be a cult classic, like the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie that we had Natasha on here for. That is a cult classic. Terrible reviews, but cult classic. And now the second one has great reviews.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's building momentum.
And when you say cult following, it led to her now and another partner of hers now producing other films because, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And that guy, and I'm gonna answer your question, but the director, remember I was talking about like what Jordan Peele did with the writer, director, editor, and cinematographer was Rise Wakefield for Winnie the Pooh. I follow these people. I got this whole thing from Jay-Z when he was starting Rockefeller Records. He was kind of following what Russell Simmons did with Def Jam.
That's right.
You see, follow somebody that you find iconic, that you look up to, and follow their business model. So Rise Wakefield, Jordan Peele, Jason Blum, these are kind of people that I follow. So going back to your question, do I have an intent to come up with a cult classic or anything? I don't think that. As a writer or as a creative, just like Ram, when you got something in your head, you have to get it out. And depending on how powerful it is, you may want to just give it to your inner circle, but sometimes you want to spread it out. Now, with learning about the truth of that old Susanna song, I'm like, how did people not know this? Now, how can I make this in a way where it forces people to see it, to want to see it? So this is, like I said, e pluribus unum, of one comes many. So this Banjo film is not just the beginning of it. This Horns and Halos film, because we're a self-contained film production company. So it's not just one. You always want to have eye-openers conversation, like Winnie the Pooh. It's like, yeah, people laughed and talked about it, but numbers don't lie, and it is the kills in that is insane. It's plain and simple.
Well, she has the best death scene in the whole movie.
100%. Yeah.
Like she's the one that gets killed after the hot tub.
Oh,
her. Yeah, and she's super cool. We've had her on twice. Mad cool.
Yeah, she's super cool.
She's crazy, but it's cool. Like cool, crazy cool. You know what I
mean? You got to be correct to deal in horror because of the normalcy of people. When you talk about horror, they think horror helps bring out the abnormalcy of what. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like it gives you that chance to say what you want to say, write what you want to write, and get away with it.
Oh, right. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
I got that from Stephen King. It's like all of those thoughts that people think as a writer or a creative, you can actually put it out there, and it's okay because your followers are going to be people that can relate to it because they probably thought about that before at one point in time or another.
That's pretty interesting, actually. Yeah. Psychologically, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That could be with any creative art in a sense, but I can see where it would be more so with the fantasy of killing somebody. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and say everybody has that fantasy, but I mean, human nature would mean that people would think about it, but of course never do it. Right. That's a possibility. That's just human nature. Psychologically, that's just what it is. So that's interesting to me. I don't know.
Which reminds me, if I may talk about some other things about this film. Nick, I don't know if Ram told you, there's a couple of product placement pieces I got in this film.
I didn't.
So,
I didn't. So mention those, please.
Okay. One of them, while I was writing, in the process of writing, usually the writer has their cigar and their whiskey. I had peanut butter moonshine. So it's actually peanut butter, it's moonshine in this film. So there's a company called Midnight Moon that make moonshine and moonshakes. I reached out, incidentally, they're in Madison, North Carolina, but I reached out to that company. Yeah, I reached out to that company and I sent them the trailer, and the brand manager got in contact with me and they said they really liked the concept. I kind of explained to them like it's not to show that even though we're in Wisconsin, we drink Wisconsinably. So I kind of left it at that. So I said that I would like to put your product in this film. So they gave me permission, and I don't know if I told you this, Ram, but they're sending me an entire care package of their products to put in this film.
Yeah. If I drank anymore, I'll be fucking excited.
Your part, listen, you're gonna be the one that lives through the credits. And the other one, y'all are familiar with the Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
There's a new game out, incidentally, what we were talking about, called Serial Killer, where the card holders, the dealer is the mortician, and the players are serial killers, and they have these cards of kills.
I still want to play this game, by the way.
Yeah, I reached out to that company. They gave me permission to put this in. So those two products are actually going to be in this film.
Right. Okay.
That's
So
dope.
that's Midnight
That's dope.
Moon, and then the game is called Serial Killer.
The game is actually called Serial Killer. It's in a coffin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
That's super dope. Yeah. Yeah.
And one more thing, actually a couple more things. Ram, I put this on a private messaging for the actors. Remember when I mentioned I'm trying to get Ari Lehman in this film?
Yes.
Do you know who Ari Lehman is?
That would be crazy. I have a signed Ari Lehman Jason mask.
Okay, watch this.
Oh, I didn't know that, dog. That's crazy.
I do have
Ram.
it.
Wow.
Ram, their Horns and Halos costume party.
Yep.
Ari has.
Well, go ahead and since you're gonna mention it, tell people about it right now.
Okay.
So they can get their tickets in advance.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So a couple of things. Ari Lehman, I've been talking to Ari Lehman because I have a good friend of mine that does paranormal investigations. She lives down the way from him. Already got his attention and his interest in it. Yeah.
I'd like to meet her, man. How interested I am in the paranormal shit. Anyway.
Yeah, Lord. Yeah, they have this thing called Boo Cruisers. They do real paranormal stuff.
Okay.
So in October 30th, and I have this Indiegogo campaign to raise funds to pay you all and to make sure y'all like hotel stays and everything. I'm having a Horns and Halos Halloween party. It's a costume party where you have to come dressed as an angel or a demon. The first half of it is going to have a DJ. The second half, I'm working on getting Ari Lehman to bring his band, First Jason, to that party. So this is going to be like some. Yeah, so it's gonna be like some Eyes Wide Shut 2025 stuff.
Yeah, you might have to come up for that one, Dan Cooper. You might have to come up to Madison for that one.
I mean, it ain't no thing. I just went to the Smith and Wesson show in Madison.
Oh, dope. Oh, how was that? We'll talk about that later. Yeah, sorry.
It was insane. It was super dope and insane.
I think Cam, you were about to ask if I'll be there. All signs will say that I would be there for months by then.
Hey, you know real quick, man. I'm not trying to put it out there, but we have been trying to get CyphaDen Chat. We talk to a lot of different people all over and shit. It would be dope if we could build even more with you. I know Ram knows you on a personal, but we could even build more with you to get more the paranormal lady or more actors, actresses, directors to be on, because we're trying to stray away from, man.
We do a lot of rappers.
I talk to rappers all the time, man.
Yeah.
It's the same stories. It's the same thing. I want to talk to different people. I mean, we've had fighters on, you know what I'm saying? That was cool. Different shit.
We talked to Tommy Chong.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sorry. I got to mention that for the rest of my life because that will forever be one of the greatest memories.
It was crazy. But I'm just saying, not to just put you on the spot like that, but I would love to build more, to maybe build a network of more people to possibly guest on the podcast to talk about different things. Because we're trying to stray away. Like I said, I talk to rappers all the time, man.
And if you want to come back on with them, you're welcome anytime too.
Well, trust me, listen.
You could be a co-host on those episodes. I would not mind it at all.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm already going to bring some of those actors from this film. Another thing, I don't know if you even noticed this. I try to keep it streamlined with the private messaging with this film thing. But are you all familiar with a TV show called Skin Wars?
Mm-mm.
Skin Wars?
They did like Skin Wars. It was on SFX TV.
No.
Okay. Well, they did like makeup, like movie makeup and stuff like that. One of the contestants that was on there from season 2, she's doing the prosthetic work for my actors in this film.
Sick.
A couple of other things.
That's super dope.
Yeah, in Hollywood, there was a company called Dapper Cadaver. If you Google it, they did all the prosthetics for movies from RoboCop to, I think, Goonies.
Wow, because RoboCop was ahead of his time back then too.
Yeah, it was. Look now.
Yeah, way ahead of his time back then.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah,
random, one of my favorite things in RoboCop is the commercials. That's just hilarious.
We also got to have you back on just to talk movies, by the way, if we run out of time. But yeah, anyway.
But did you all know that company, Dapper Cadaver? She moved from Hollywood. She's now here in Madison. This is where she's from. So the company Yes, the company Dapper Cadaver is in Madison, Wisconsin, right off of Fish Hatchery. I got a business account there for the prosthetics and everything we need. So if we're gonna do it, I've been working under a rock with a lot of this stuff, but Rand, you know the ins and outs of what I've been.
Yeah, you got to keep it. You got to keep it close to your chest to you ready.
But I keep it. I'm transparent with you all, so you all can see the progress. So it's just not sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
So
that's synchronicity right there. That's crazy, man.
It takes a lot. Yeah, I was surprised when I found out there in Madison. I drove right over there and met the woman.
That's wild.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the whole thing. I'm excited about you doing movies based out of the Wisconsin area. I think that shit's crazy. I'm excited for my homie Ram. The whole thing has me excited. I can't wait for this shit.
Me either. I can't wait to get there.
I want to tell you a crazy story about Ram.
Wait, hold on now. Hold on. Niggas got kids and shit.
Hey,
hold on.
Just so you know, this is gonna be the clip. I already called it.
Anything I've done, people probably know it already. And guess what? I don't give a fuck. So I'll tell you what.
No, this isn't like that.
Go ahead.
When I initially wrote this, I had a visualization in my head of what I want this person, what I wanted Orion to look like. Ram could show you this picture. I wasn't even thinking about Ram when I wrote this, or drew it, but I drew out this form of what this man looks like, facial feature wise, and it looks like a 50-year-old version of him. Remember that picture?
Yeah. Like when I grow probably last episode, if y'all go back and look the way I looked, it looks more like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So I ain't had no crazy story like that.
Yeah.
I'm more laid back.
No, me and Cam he ain't see the crazy Ram. I'd already calmed down some by the time we had him.
It's just crazy because I've had like 3 or 4 different people that was potentially going to play this part, but he's stuck. And he's not only the Candyman of this movie, he made Born a Man, and what's the other song?
You mean the recent one that I just dropped that you also want to use, Sam?
Yes.
I love Easily. Born a Man, no one's heard. Remember, only me and you have heard Born a Man.
Right.
You actually got me wanting to mix that down and maybe drop that next. Now that I think about it, but I want to wait. Yeah, okay. I didn't think so. Okay, yeah.
You want that to be a shock because that's kind of like
right, we'll wait for film purposes then. Yeah.
That's in juxtaposition to when you think of like the song Hustle, the movie Hustle and Flow.
Well, that's right.
But you know how
that one is on. I was like, good.
That's bad that you would say that in this film is actually about slavery. Wow.
Damn it. Well, there's a clip.
That is the clip, bro. What the fuck?
But no, there was a part, there was a song that they actually got a Grammy for because it was so fitting for the film.
Right.
That's how Born a Man is. It's like Born a Man was like almost the song and dance to this film. So it perfectly fits it, which reminds me, we do have William Elliott Whitmore. He gave us permission to use 2 of his songs in this film also. There's a guy.
Explain who he is for people who don't know who he is. Maybe.
Okay, William Elliott Whitmore is an American folk, blues, and a banjo player, a very good banjo player.
Like considered one of the best ever, right, or something like that.
He's kind of like who I don't know if you all know who Rhiannon Giddens is. She's a sister from the Appalachian Mountains or something like that. He's very much like that. If you ever heard of a song called Hell or High Water, he's the one that made that, if it sounds familiar.
Okay.
But also there's another guy named Sleeping Joe that's from Denmark, literally the other side of the world, that I reached out to him. And that's enough. That's the beauty of this. It's like you just reach out to people and they want to be a part of it. So it's not like you're capitalizing on their craft. You get their permission because they're doing the same thing that you're doing, what I'm doing, just under a different, a different scope of art. Like they do music, I do screenwriting. So
and it all comes together beautifully, right?
It sounds beautiful and easy to come together. I wish hip hop was like that because it ain't.
Yeah, well, shit. Well, don't get it twisted. Once you get deep into shit, every industry that is entertainment has some shadiness to it, of course. I learned that about stand-up comedy. So I thought it was all hunky-dory, and I was like, oh shit, nigga, this is just like hip-hop. I don't want to fuck with this.
A lot of it is brutal. You realize that people that you want to see as collaborative, they look at you as competition, especially if you got a particular light about you. And that's when you have to use that kind of discernment. And it's not speaking bad about other crafts and things. You just got to be weary of people's intentions. I've had people that, before, like the Orions before, use like, well, can I tell this such and such about it? These people are SAG connected, Screen Actors Guild. I'm like, even though it's under copyright, why would you want to do something?
Yeah.
Like, just to maintain the integrity of this. I mean, I'm independent, but don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Damien Leone that made Terrifier 1, 2, and 3. I mean, financially successful. He did it independently. So you never knock them indies.
No,
I actually heard recently crazy shit about that dude, about how basically like Hollywood came at him. They were like, they really wanted him to sell that shit. They really wanted him to sell it. And he said no, he didn't give a fuck.
Wow. That's crazy. By the way, Danko, I'm gonna send you Born a Man so you can hear it. Man, it's crazy. When I think about that song, I wrote it in like 10 minutes, to be honest, 15 minutes. And I'm not even tooting my horn, but it was because it was inspired by me and Cam talking about the film. He just asked me to do the role. I said, of course, right away. And he sent, what'd you send me? He sent me the poster. And what are the words on the poster?
Born a man, made a slave, created a monster.
Yeah. So then, Danko, you'll appreciate this. I took the hook and I just was like, I mean, the lyrics are right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I guess I could sing a little bit of the hook and give people a sample. To kind of, it basically is like, I was born a man, they made me a slave, and they created a monster. It's something like, but it's blues. You know what I'm saying? I did the samples of the guitar and made the beat and stuff.
It's grungy old slave.
Hey, it's fire.
Working blues. Yeah. It's to the point. Remember the chain part?
Yep. Yeah. So Danko, I sent Cam the song. Cam sends me back some chains jingling samples like, yo, can you put this in the show? I'm like, yeah. So then we put like, oh man, I'm gonna send it to you.
That's what's up.
It seemed like it was written for this film, but it's just like it paired right up with it. So very fair.
Yeah, and of course you can use Your Love Easily for sure. Everybody, that is my latest single. Actually, yeah.
That's gonna be the dramatic part.
Throw that out there.
What would you say to somebody that wants to step into the director creative role that has no idea about what they're doing at all? What kind of inspiration or guidance would you tell somebody?
Don't.
It looked like he froze.
My man didn't even smile.
I thought his screen froze for a second.
No, okay. I got you there. I had to. That's another thing. I'm a practical joker. So when we on set, don't be surprised if you hear like an air horn out of nowhere, out of the deep in the woods. But what advice would I give somebody? Don't give up on yourself. That's the hardest thing to do. I remember when I was you're always a parent. I was a single father of 3 kids. I was sitting in my bedroom while they were sleeping in their rooms, and it's like I had like my bed with a whole bunch of papers and a laptop, thinking like, what am I gonna do with this? As time goes by, you end up shaving the fat off of your dreams, because it's like your dreams are clouded with so much stuff. It's like you think of the accolades, you think of, oh, I want to get a Writers Guild award, and I want to do this, and I want to make a cult classic. Once you shave off all of that bullshit, and you realize like your 9 to 5 is your job, but your creative side is your work. That's what, because it's you're working on you. That's a big difference. Once you realize that, you start to create a pattern of consistency. That's why I'm saying don't give up on yourself, because that's one of the easiest things to do. Block out the noise of what people would tell you. That's another important thing. I had people laughing at me for this shit. Swear to Satan, no bullshit. But then they asked, well, do you have any parts? Frozen screen again. Like, do you have any? Well, I've always wanted to do acting. I'm like, I've always wanted to be like a screenwriter. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm trying to do that right now.
Right.
Also, another important thing, y'all both know this, invest in yourself. I'm not just talking about time. If that camera, if you want to be a screenwriter or a film director, yes, you can use your smartphone, but actually invest in yourself. Get you a cinematography camera. Get your ass out there, start filming stuff. Learn about editing. Learn about the rule of thirds. Learn about aperture and
education. Educating yourself with film is a big one, I think.
I'm gonna tell you something. I am a proud alumni of YouTube University, and I still go back every so often. I know people that have went, and I'm not knocking film schools like LA, like the LA Film School, but I've learned more on YouTube in the past couple of. That's what this is built on, from building the the LLC to the EIN and all of that. I've learned that all that from YouTube is a very important tool.
It is.
So invest in yourself. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome. I want to add one thing to that is start somewhere. Like a lot of, you know what I mean? Like you say, you can do it with your smartphone. I think a lot of people, when it comes to anything, when you're starting something like that, and me, I've tried to start making a film, writing scripts before. I haven't gotten past the start because it's not my passion. I just, music is, and comedy is different.
You find what your niche is.
Different lane, right. But I will say this: when I did look to say, okay, how do you start making a film? Start somewhere, just anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Just start. Like, be like cliche Martin Luther King statement. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. You know what I'm saying? And I'd say that's one important thing to add to that.
I want to share something bouncing off of that. It's funny because when you talk to people that you write films and stuff like that, a lot of people say, you could write a story about my life. Most of our lives are fucking boring.
Yeah.
I mean, we have ups and downs. Like, our lives are pretty boring. But the reason why I say that, you can take something boring and make it into something grandiose. Hear me out on this. The movie Titanic, James Cameron, right? It's about a boat. It's about a boat that broke. It's about a boat that broke and a whole bunch of people died, right? If it was just a movie about that, it would be boring as hell, right? So what did he do?
Tapped into your emotions.
He added the Romeo and Juliet complex into it. He added Jack and what was her name?
Rose. I've never even seen that movie. That's the saddest part about that. But anyway.
But he added Jack and Rose into it. He added a love theme into it because humans, we can connect to that. So there was the antagonist, the protagonist in the storyline, and the protagonist in that was actually the ship, because that's what they were up against, and they didn't know it, the antagonist. But yeah, it's like, you could take something boring and add some elements to it. Like I said, the Titanic is about a ship.
Yeah. I'm still mad because I've never seen it, but I have seen the ending scene because everyone in the
when she was sitting there on the right when you sit there, she's on the floor.
I just want to say for the record, and everybody knows this, it's been a long running joke. He could have fit on that door, man. Selfish bitch. He could have fit on that door.
He could have muffed her off of it.
You know what I mean? And I want to say, the next person that tells a story about the Titanic in the history of this world needs to include the 9 billionaires that got off before that motherfucker took off, because they knew it was going to crash.
Yeah,
it was the first 9. No, I don't want to say that big one.
I mean, random. Since you're just talking about Titanic, I actually recently saw a thing about the Hollywood version of the sinking of the Titanic compared to what it really looked like. That would be one of the scariest things ever in the world. It was pitch black. You wouldn't see nothing except for the lights going down, and then all the lights went out. It'd be pitch black. You would be pitch darkness and just
get ate up by some shit
and hear people screaming.
Yeah,
that's what you would hear.
Yeah,
death and darkness. That's like that. Yeah, that's when you think of it like that. That was horrific. So with James Cameron, what he did just with the lighting and everything, I mean, that's what I was going back to learn about lighting, aperture, shutter speed, rule of thirds. It's like, what's inside this little box right here? You can create a whole world inside of here once you learn certain elements. So, and that's what he did. So,
yeah, and that's what you are in process of doing. Okay, so we got to get to movie talk. I know we're gonna get towards the end of this, but before we do, Danku, I'm gonna go ahead and let you ask whatever movie question, top 5, top 3, whatever. I know we're gonna do that at some point. So let's get to the fun movie.
He's
kind of said that actually, I guess.
Horror films, but top 5 all time horror movies.
Top 5 horror movies. Trilogy of Terror. First Halloween.
No order? These aren't no order?
No, these aren't in order.
Okay.
No, these are like all over the board.
Yeah.
Some new ones actually got my attention, believe it or not. I looked 7.
Yeah.
It's number 3. You're gonna be shocked at the next 2. Have you seen this newer one? It's psychological. It's called Interview with the Devil.
No.
I might have seen it. I don't know.
Oh goodness.
What year was that?
2024. That just came out.
Then no, I did not see that one.
Huh.
That one was interesting. And of course, the very first, I'm very basic. The original Nightmare on Elm Street. The Robert Englund version.
That's one of my
yeah.
That's fair.
The original Nightmare on Elm Street. What about you? Ram, are you into horror movies?
No, but I was when I was younger and as a kid because all my brothers and my brother and my cousins were. So they would scare the shit out of me. They, because they would act like the characters after the movie. So I've never really been into horror. So maybe it's PTSD. I don't know. My uncles used to do shit like
my brother blames me for him hating horror movies, and I still in my mind don't understand. I'm like, did I force you to watch horror movies?
Wait, are you older?
Yeah, like 9 years.
Oh, I don't remember traumatizing my little brother ass.
No, I'm just saying. I don't like. He blames me for not liking horror. I'm like,
here's the thing. I appreciate it, but it has to be really good for me, right? Like I'm not watching every horror movie. That's not my thing. But I'm like that with every genre of film. Does that make sense? Yeah. It has to be really good to catch me because there's a lot of stupid comedies. There's a lot of dumb romantic comedies. There's so I will say this. Love the Friday 13th. Nightmare on Elm Streets were cool. I really loved Scream 1, although that probably gets a bad rap these days. I love Scream 1.
That's one of my tops.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the Halloweens. I mean, I'm basic with that shit though. The ones everybody else likes pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I really like that the Winnie the Pooh one that Natasha was in. I forget the full long title, but I really like that one.
Blood and Honey.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah.
And see, I try to. That's like when we was talking about earlier, talking about different films and stuff. When I'm in creation mode, whether it's writing or trying to build this, I try not to look at other series or movies of the like genre, so I don't adopt any concepts psychologically. So I literally will not watch certain things on purpose.
Yeah. I don't listen to hip hop sometimes when I know I'm gonna be writing. That's actually what got me more to singing and shit. Is that I stopped listening to hip hop because I don't want to rap. I didn't want to write other stuff people have written or like I did that last year for about 4 or 5 months. I would listen to stuff like Danku dropped and stuff people I knew, but I wasn't listening to hip hop at all. I was listening to jazz and R&B and stuff on purpose. And then I said, oh, well, let me write some of this shit. It's kind of weird how that works. But yeah. So I didn't want to mess with my mind, but then I ended up messing with my mind and making myself write the shit that I was listening to.
Yeah. Look what you got now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably say I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street is there, the original. Devil's Rejects is my shit.
Oh man, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Like definitely one of my favorites. I like the Conjuring universe. I like that whole shit. Those movies actually scare me because it's based on real shit that happened. So I think that shit.
See, that's the thing. There's also a blend of psychological thriller and horror because Dexter's my favorite shit, period. Love that fucking show. You see what I'm saying? Like, so if you get to that as part of the genre, it gets different for me because I like, Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
consider
yeah.
Seven horror. I would consider that psychological thriller.
Psychological thriller. Yeah.
But
Man,
yeah,
that's up there for me too. Yeah.
so like those three, I've watched all of those movies multiple times. I think that's why I place them there. Like they're ones that are
Yeah.
constantly go back to. They're not just ones that automatically uh stood out. I mean, maybe they are kind of. I don't know. But so those three, and then a movie I've watched multiple times, and I like it. I like it a little more every time I watch it. And it's not going to be on anyone's radar. Is that movie, The Gallows?
I've never seen that.
I never heard of him.
So I went to the theater to see it, and the movie's it's a bunch of it's Blair Witchy, so it's some first person shit, right? But it's based off of these kids break into this high school play um that's redoing this play called The Gallows, and the play is haunted because the first group of kids that ever did The Gallows, the kid that played the main character hung himself on stage.
Oh, so it's like
So
cursed. It's cursed like type shit.
yeah, like curse shit. And then they go into it to destroy the set and all this shit to fuck with it. And while they're there, I mean,
You don't give away the movie. Yeah.
yeah, it's
That's fine. That sounds fine, actually. Though.
It's I like, and I appreciate it more each time. I think the first time I was like, oh man, I don't know. But then like the next time I watched it, it was like a little more crazy. Like I don't know. And then
Might
Sinister.
have to check it out.
Sinister's my
Okay.
shit.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah. They're both dope. I mean,
Magul. Yeah.
crazy. Dang, I actually had an honorable mention one, and now it just left my mind. Oh,
what's your favorite?
Sixth Sense I liked a lot.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Sixth Sense is crazy. Especially the Easter eggs that people have gone back over the years and found, which is crazy to me. Yeah.
You want to share an Easter egg with y'all right quick? I don't know how long
Of
this is
course.
going to be. The movie Seven, right?
Hmm.
Mid into the movie, do you all remember when Detective Somerset and Officer Mills' wife was in the restaurant and they were talking? And he said, I had a relationship once. It was somewhat like a marriage. And she said that she wanted kids. She's like, I want children. And she's like, I hate this city. You remember that? You remember that at all?
I remember the conversation, but I don't remember that being said.
They were in the restaurant and they were sitting there talking. He said, I had a relationship once. It was like a marriage, but I wasn't ready for kids. So eventually I wore her down. And he told her, if you have this child, you love it with all your heart. But if you don't have this child, you better never tell him. And she started crying. Right?
Okay.
Vaguely remember that. Fast forward to the end of the movie. Remember when John Doe looked at him and said, oh, he didn't know. Remember that part when he slapped him? When he was explaining she was pregnant?
Necessarily. No, go ahead. Keep going.
John Doe, while they were talking in that restaurant, Kevin Spacey, John Doe, walks right into the restaurant behind them. Remember, they never knew what he looked like.
Yeah. Wow. Now I haven't seen that in years. I'm gonna have to go back. And
People are starting to pop this up on YouTube now.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
He walks right into the restaurant and he's sitting right next to them, but they show him come in the door because it says Friday and it pans over. And as it's panning over, remember the rule of thirds. He's right in the center of the door. And he actually looks down at Somerset and his wife and Brad Pitt's wife while they're talking. So he heard the whole conversation. Because remember when he said he's like, I wanted to play nice, but he couldn't play. She didn't want to play nice. He said, so I kept a souvenir, some her pretty head.
And okay, I do remember that line, yeah.
And then he looked at Somerset and said, oh, he didn't know. And that's when he was explaining that she was pregnant. And that's what pushed Mills to kill him, which was wrath. But yeah, he heard the whole conversation because he was in a restaurant with him.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So when you say the rule of thirds, you're talking about how the screen is split, correct?
Yeah, like if you look at your phone, it's going to be 9 boxes if you put those lines up.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that the person listening to this knows.
So when you're strategically filming, like where my hands are right now, if you were filming, you would put a person here and a person here because it's visually appeasing to watch that. Whereas if most of them were over here, if you look at it like this, you're expecting something to happen over there.
Yeah, you know who I've noticed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know who I've noticed plays with that, and it becomes the genius part of what he does visually is Spike Lee. He's played with that a lot over the years.
Yeah. Listen to him on Masterclass. If you want to see,
I have.
Grandiose.
Somebody gave me a free Masterclass subscription during pandemic, so I watched that one actually. Yeah,
that's what's up, man.
He was.
Yeah, man. I think we definitely need to have you come back on just to talk specific movies in general. I think that would be super dope. But yeah, we are a little over an hour, man. I don't really like to drag it out. But Ram, if you got a last question, last thought you want to ask Cam?
I don't. I want Cam to give us his last thought, actually. And anything more you want to say about the movie, give people details, anything. Okay. Whatever you want to say in closing, we can end it with that.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna talk about the birth of this Horns and Halos. All right.
Yep.
Ram, you already know. And have you ever heard? You all heard of the 11-11 Make a Wish, right? At 11-11 Make a Wish.
Yeah.
You already know
that. This is the conversation we had when we met. Literally, that's the first conversation. Yeah, the first conversation we had was about that. Yeah.
But that's the birth of this Horns and Halos. If you look at the HH that's 11-11. But I made each one of them. There's 4 eyes that I use when I'm doing this filming, whether it's creating a business. It's instinct, intelligence, intuition, and insanity. I literally use those 4 elements. Instinct, our animal side. Intuition, you follow your spidey sense. Intelligence, just common sense. And insanity, to move outside of this little funky box that we got. Using those 4 elements have allowed me to create this to what it is right now.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, also in the gold and scarlet are Marine Corps colors.
Okay, right. And you can explain your, so people don't think it's stolen valor. You might want to explain your history a little bit, or at least briefly say a sentence. Hey, I did this, so people aren't like, who the fuck?
Oh, I've served proudly Marine Corps from 91 to 94. I've paid my dues. So
right. I just want to make sure people know that. So they don't be like, "Oh, who this dude?"
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. I incorporated these because,
but back when he was young and strapping, Danko used to see the pictures. He looking. Yeah, you should see the pictures.
Now, my father was a Chicago cop. He died when I was 8, so the Marine Corps became my father. I've learned about being a man and learned about everything. I mean, my mother taught me what she could, but I enlisted at 19. So these 2, I mean, that's just our color. So it's. People think it's red and gold. It's actually gold and scarlet. Okay. It's gold and scarlet. I'm looking at it in reverse, so it's okay. Scarlet and gold. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
you're fine.
So it has multiple meanings.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up, man.
So the film was called Banjo.
Banjo. Make sure y'all look for that. I'm sure a lot more will be coming soon. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about your future projects. To be honest, talking about those and talking about things in the future.
I got some friends that have already volunteered to be extras too. And some friends in Wisconsin.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being an extra in nothing. But and for real, if you want to come up with something for that Otis shit, I would love to hear what you come up with, because that shit is crazy to me. But yeah, but this has been dope, man.
Yeah.
This is the CyphaDen Chat, presented by CyphaDen Music, where we inspire even those higher. And remember to never stop chasing your dreams, because you will never know what you are fully capable of.
Booyah.
I'm your host, Sayamu Denku. That's my homie, Rambunctious. Tonight we had special guest, Horns and Halos' own Cam Calloway in the motherfucking house. It's been beautiful, man. We appreciate you to the fullest. I look forward to Banjo coming soon, along with your future projects. We will definitely have to have you back on to talk movies, because I love movies, and I would love to talk more about them with you, and maybe bring some friends on, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. But we appreciate you to the fullest, man, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, dog.